Hey everybody, it's been a while. Some of you out there, especially my lowest subscribers, might notice I've been off the grid lately, and I think it's only fair that I give you a life update, a really brief life update of what's been going on over the past few months. So I've been really busy, and during the summer I was completing my bachelor thesis to get my degree in mechanical engineering. So of course I got the degree, and I also took the time to relocate to a new city. So, hello, new location. This might be the first thing some of you noticed. For those of you who know me already and notice a completely different bathroom and a different studio in a different city. And I'm currently pursuing a master's degree in aerospace engineering, and it took me quite a while to settle down and to get settled in this new city, new university, and a higher degree. And I guess I consider myself settled. So let's get to the point of this video, which is a review of So Slick's Unorthodox wax. So before I continue on with the rest of this review, I just want to say a big thank you to the guys out there at So Slick to send me a can of this stuff to review. But I also want to say that all my opinions and everything I'll say in this video is completely based on my own personal experiences, and I was not sponsored to do this. So let's get to it. It comes in this very sleek, minimalist black plastic jar right over here with the company logo on top, and on the sides you have the product name, Unorthodox Wax, with some of its major specifications. You have the product description right here, with of course more of the specifications that they expect out of this product or what it's designed for. You have the ingredients list right here. And last but not least, a set of verbal instructions, which is a little bit of a breath of fresh air because a lot of these, a lot of hair products have very verbal descriptions when it comes to styling or using the product. And this one, well, I guess it's really easy on the eyes with a visual description like this. So very sleek, black plastic jar design. And let's open it up. So you'd find this gray, kind of dry looking product. From the surface, it looks a bit like a wax and a clay at the same time, but as you dig it in, it looks a little bit like a cream kind of thing. And the scent on it, I really, really like it. It's just super clean. It's a clean floral scent. And it's quite subtle as well. It's not too powerful, so let's just go ahead and scoop it out. And scooping it out, it has it's really smooth. You would notice that it kind of scoops out definitely heavier than a cream. I wouldn't say it's easy as a cream, but of course it's really smooth to scoop it out. But you would feel the dryness upon putting it on your fingertips. So definitely feels a lot heavier than a cream, but not as much as a clay. It kind of feels a bit like scooping out a drier paste or a paste with a little bit more of consistency to it. But definitely more than a cream, a little more than a wax, but I mean, a little more than a paste. Somewhere like around a wax, but I wouldn't say it feels as rough as scooping out a clay. There's definitely, you feel kind of like a cream, clay, wax property, which is expected as a hybrid product. And by the way, if you're wondering what the hybrid is, it's basically a hybrid between a wax and a clay. So just emulsifying the product in my palms. You would notice some kind of stickiness to it. You're beginning to feel a little more of the clay properties, but at this point it feels more like a paste. Because usually a wax is slightly drier on your hands. It feels a little like lotion, but it gets drier in the hair actually. You feel not so much of a grittiness to it. I mean, it's very, very minor, so you'd notice some of the clay properties from that, but it mainly feels like kind of a very thick paste. Now let's apply the first scoop to the hair. And now upon applying it to the hair, you definitely feel more of that dry resistance. And this is just very, very slightly damp right now. It's really smooth to apply, and there's no tug whatsoever, but it's very dry but smooth application. Apply a little more right now. Just a little bit for the sides and for the back. And you're really beginning to see just right off the bat that there is a good amount of volume, a good amount of like oomph to your hair to it the moment you actually apply. And let me just close this door to get for better lighting. There we go. So you would notice that it has a very like an almost natural kind of finish, but that's because my hair is just slightly damp. I would say depending on how dark your hair is between natural to matte. Like when I just apply the product to my hair, it is a true, I would say exact, but it sits in a good level between matte and natural. But throughout the day, when the product settles in your hair, it looks really dry and very matte, but it's not like an icky, artificial matte looking finish where you just have these like fake looking streaks in your hair. It's kind of like a nice matte finish. I'm not the guy for matte products, but I do like the matte finish coming out of this. So I'm just gonna go ahead, my hair naturally parts, so I'm just gonna form like a rough part over here, and I don't normally finger comb, but these products, with a dry product like this, you can always, you need a demonstration for finger combing, because that's pretty much the whole point of to provide texture with a very dry product like this. And don't let the company name fool you. I mean, it's so slick. This is not exactly meant to be a slick product, because this is a hybrid between a wax and a clay. You can expect a very dry and textured looking product. So here I have like this rough monolithic quiff over here. You can see that there's a really good amount of lift, a really good amount of shape to it. I'm just gonna like tease my hair forwards. I normally do with a pompadour, because for those who know me, a slick retro pompadour is kind of like my go-to style. So I'm just kind of used to the whole JoJo thing going on with the my hair just going really bulging and forward. So whenever I do like a quiff type hairstyle or a pop or anything, I always really like it forward. That's how it has to be. So you begin to feel more of the slight grittiness, but it's not excessive, and there's that dryness when you style differently. I'm just gonna get my vent brush for a bit. I'll be right back. Normally when I do a finger combed, a grown out quiff with sides like this, I typically use a vent brush just to take care of the sides, and then I finger comb it again, so there's nothing, to on the sides. No excessive strays. So I should let a vent brush take care of that first, and then I use my hands. So as you can see, there is a really good amount of texture over here, and this is what the final hairstyle looks like. As you can see, there is a good amount of texture in there, a good amount of separation, but it's not pretty much like you don't see any wide gaps at all. It has sort of like a natural looking texture to it, so it kind of makes your hair's natural features kind of like go the way it is without making it look too forced or anything. So it actually puts your hair into the right shape you would like to, while retaining some of its, letting your hair retain some of its natural properties with that natural flow and natural separation, so it doesn't look too, because with some clays and some dry products, you have a huge separation in here, and I just like it to look a little more natural sometimes, and this product just lets me do that. It sits in like I said, it sits in a really happy limbo between clay and a wax and a matte cream and paste. So it kind of like really it has like the good styling properties of everything in there, and it doesn't really have that excessive separation you find in very, very clay heavy products. It has the smooth application of paste, and I just really like how some of the you would notice some of the major features of like other clay products and paste products just combined into this one little jar right here. And this is what it looks like finger combed. Now, if I do comb it for a bit, just to get an idea, I'm just gonna do like a typical, my usual long trim pompadour. Even though it's not really designed for slick styles, but it could work if you'd like it to. But you'd definitely feel a little more, I wouldn't say tug, but there's definitely more resistance when using a comb. So you might want to use damp hair to style with it, but the thing is, damp hair would actually kind of like slightly, you would have some of its properties just slightly lost upon using damp hair. As you can see, the sides are not, it's not exactly made for slick products, but it does work. The sides are a little puffy. No obvious comb lines, but still the natural hair texture is there. And I would say that the endurance on this and the hold, it's somewhere, it's definitely more than a firm, but a really, really lightweight one. And I usually end the day, whenever I use the product, end the day with a hairstyle that is slightly deflated. That's usually expected with using a lot of these dry products and products that boost volume, because at the end of the day, I usually have hair that is with a slight shift, with a slight deflation in volume. It just moves around a little bit, but that usually happens whenever I use products like this. But I would say that overall it actually still it keeps my hair despite a little shift in a really consistent manner. And the endurance, I use this during summer sometimes, and especially during humid weather, humid climate, and when it gets really stuffy outside, it actually holds up really well. I mean, this was designed and manufactured in a country with a humid climate in a tropical region. So of course you'd expect a product made by Singaporeans, not necessarily for Singaporeans, but typically whenever something is designed and manufactured in one particular country, it is made according to the needs of the people in that country. So it's kind of, you can say it's more or less made for Singaporeans, but of course with the rest of the world in mind. But with the great thing about products being designed that were designed in around the equator or the tropics, you would have products typically with amazing endurance. So this is definitely expected, and I was not disappointed by this. Definitely really amazing endurance out of this. And when it comes to the washout, really easy. It just goes out with one brand of shampoo. And final verdict on this, it is actually one of my, I don't really use dry products a lot, but when it comes to dry products, this is definitely one of the products that are way up there on my list. Like I said, I just really, really enjoy how it takes the great properties out of dry products that you enjoy, such as pastes, the pliability and smoothness of a paste, no excessive texture, really easy styling that you would find with a cream or a paste, with the hold of a wax, and also it just feels really, really lightweight in your hair, kind of like a pre-styling paste, and that is also where the good amount of volume and lift comes from. It's really easy to, as long as you blow dry beforehand, but even without the blow drying, it's still pretty easy to shape your hair with. It gives you that boost in volume. You don't always need a blow dryer, but it's better to use it together with a blow dryer. But it really gives you the shape that you need for most of the day. Even though your hair would shift a little bit, you still get the general shape you started with. Of course, if you use damp hair, you expect a slight decline in some of the properties. That you would notice it getting a little less strong, but definitely this is, I would say it's more than a firm hold. I wouldn't go so far to say heavy, because it feels really lightweight in your hair, and just effortless volume, amazing endurance, while being very, very lightweight, and I always love that in a product. And so that is the Unorthodox wax by So Slick. If you love dry styling products, I highly recommend the Unorthodox wax or anything by So Slick. These guys just really outdid themselves. And also, when it comes to restyling, this is one thing I forgot to mention, is that it still feels very pliable, but it gets really, I would say super, super dry. I mean, it feels really dry when you restyle it, but it's not like an unhealthy kind of dry. I mean, even when you wash it out your hair, you wouldn't have your hair feeling like straw. It just feels normal. I mean, you wouldn't really have any moisture sucked out of there. And yeah, it has a really dry, but not excessively dry restyle. But that is definitely okay. It is expected. And so I think this is an exceptional product. And if you enjoyed this video and learned quite a bit from it, please click on the bell icon to never miss a single video, a single update of my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and a comment, and I'll see you next time on Pomades and Pompadours.